Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of LockInToEsports with your hosts,
Cerberus
and Ham, going over everything esport and gaming from this past week. Today's episode schedule listed off, we have esports news, League of Legends LCS, Call of Duty CDL, Rainbow Six Siege's 6th Invitational, gaming news, Counter-Strike, CSGO, PUBG and Warzone, Rocket League, streamer news, Valorant VCT, upcoming games, then closing us out with the top 3 videos of the week. Let's lock into esports. Starting off with esports news, Noble Esports, an organization that has teams in Fortnite, Apex Legends, and other esport titles, has not been paying their employees. Noble's partnership manager, Dan Disbog Goodman, tweeted that he was no longer with the company, stating, "With all due respect, you are warned, advised, and simply were uncomfortable to work with," aimed at Noble's owner, Kyle McDougall. He also stated Kyle got Noble's money wrapped up in NFTs, which is the reason for not having the funds to pay employees, along with other people owed, like legendary rapper T-Pain. Shortly after Goodman's tweet appeared on Noble Esports account stating the people posting were the social media team and they refused to work until being paid, which led to the Twitter account being deactivated.
That is horrible. I mean, if you're gonna have contracts with people, you gotta pay them. Money makes the world go round.
Then, February 8th, Noble Esports owner Kyle McDougall reactivated the Twitter account, putting out a statement saying a confusing excuse, stating they used PayPal to pay their people prior, sketchy, but then they switched to paying people directly, which froze up the account. They got a new account and issues were still arising where he claims they'd pay a whole team, but only one would go through. He said he's doing his best to make sure everyone gets paid as they work off Excel spreadsheets, and people could have gotten lost in translation. He also stated he had no idea people weren't getting paid as he didn't do payroll. Ending his statement, he begged people to believe and forgive him. Not sure about this one. Sounds like a lot of hoopla, but hey, who's to say where the truth really lies? If everyone gets paid, that is really all that matters in the end.
True. Very, very true.
Moving on to Team Liquid, they have a few changes. Team Liquid tweeted on February 17th, stating 17 is stepping down as the coach of PUBG, but he will continue to be associated with the organization. Also, with Team Liquid, LCS official rules state that no team may field a roster consisting of 3 or more imports. With Team Liquid already consisting of Bwipo and Hansama, sorry if I pronounce them wrong, they were maxed out. Well, World League support Core JJ is officially eligible to start on Team Liquid LCS roster for week 3 as he finally received his green card, and I am stoked to see what kind of powerhouse this combo will bring to an already immaculate team.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Core JJ is a big pickup. So
Yeah.
the fact that he's able to play now, that's good news for Team Liquid.
Speaking of LCS, they have a new commissioner. Jack Felling, prior CDL director of production, has announced she is the new LCS commissioner as the head of the North American League of Legends esports for Riot Games. Jack wants to be sure to include all feedback, making LCS everything fans could ever want, encouraging people to share feedback, passion, and voice. I love some LCS. Can't wait to see what changes she can bring.
Very true. Same.
Next, we have unsolicited judgment at its finest. I'm sure many have heard that ex-pro Tekken player Tanu Kana, not 100% on that one, was immediately dropped from her team, Cyclops Athlete Gaming, after stating short kings don't deserve human rights. After the story broke news, other things started appearing of things she has said prior, like people with A-cup bra sizes don't deserve human rights, and even a full-blown hatred for low-income earners. I am very glad she is not part of the pro world anymore. That is so much hate in her heart, and for what? That much hate is so exhausting. I hope this really opens her eyes to hopefully be a better human being.
I certainly hope so. That is terrible. Why you would say anybody doesn't deserve human rights is absolutely disgusting. So
Yeah,
glad to see
disgusting.
that Cyclops took some action there and
Immediately.
swift.
Right.
So yeah, glad to
On
see that.
a more positive note, Overwatch, how we miss thee. Overwatch League 2022 season will kick off on May 5th, along with the official date. Structure details were also released, stating it will include a mid-season global tournament with a massive prize pool, as well as a revamp to the postseason shaping league point system. The players will also be competing in a new Overwatch 2 mode, Push, to replace the Assault game mode. Very exciting to finally watch Overwatch this season, especially to see how these new changes play in.
I'm excited to see him on a new game. It's very, very interesting.
Once everything starts coming out and they start playing, best believe Cerberus will be on the coverage. So look out for that.
I will.
Counter-Strike news next. CSGO has a large amount of women playing on a professional level, but they aren't allowed on CSGO Pro teams. The number has drastically dropped since Valorant came out with VCT Game Changers, allowing marginalized genders in 2021. While CSGO just announced ESL Impact, the $500,000 CSGO circuit for women only. It will feature 24 teams spread equally across Europe, North America, and South America, 2 league seasons with LAN finals, 1 standalone event, along with online cash cups through 2022. ESL Impact will kick off March 8th and will be broadcast every Thursday and Friday during a 6-week period. Global finals are said to be held in Dallas, Texas. I believe June 3rd to June 5th. We're going to have to double check with those dates as time comes. But with Counter-Strike series having over 20 years of competitive history, I am stoked to see women finally having their name on the esport as well. Hashtag GG for all.
Yes. I am so glad to hear this story come out. For too long, it's been a male-dominated industry, and definitely, you know me, I'm equal rights for all, just like you are. So, I mean, it's good to see that CS:GO is finally recognizing that and getting some showcasing for marginalized genders throughout the game. So, I'm excited to see this.
Heck yes. Next up, this cracks me up. Fortnite pro Loopboy Void tweeted, "If you have supportive parents, don't take it for granted. So ish having a demotivating and unsupportive dad," in which his mom replied, "Calling your parents not supportive is not acceptable because they say you can't stay up until 3 a.m. on a school night. That's called being a parent." in which Void blocked his mom, and his mom said, "Now I'm blocked." This is hilarious. Grow up, my boy. Like, if your parents aren't supportive or something along those lines, you're on a professional level. Don't put your business out there like that. I'm not saying, they're supportive. I don't know your situation, but like, come on,
don't
man.
take it to Twitter. Deal with that stuff face to face. If you got issues with somebody, don't take it to online.
Or your friends or
take
therapist.
It to them. Or your friends or therapist. Yeah.
Oh man, we all know Call of Duty developers are incredibly out of touch with the Pro League CDL, but this is just sad. You'd think, they don't know the players, but at least they know the 12 team names, since every year they make millions on in-game purchases for the teams. Nope. The top fan favorite team, Optic Texas, is named as Texas Optics in the newest CDL bundle. By the time this video is up, hopefully they'll have it fixed, but come on. Optic Hex even tweeted, "I don't know what's more offensive, the way they titled our camo Texas Optics, or the way they designed our camo. Come on, man." I don't know. Here's to hoping Activision starts to at least act like they care or know anything about CDL.
God, I so want them to just actually pay attention to what happens in their community. I mean, granted, they are making some changes, but come on. I mean, that's just unacceptable. Texas Optics, they make it sound like they're an eyeglass manufacturer. Come on, man.
It's pretty funny.
Like, get it together, Activision. Just get it. Come on, please, for the love of God, please.
Oh man, we'll see. We will see. Hopefully this will be a one and done, never again. Learned your lesson sort of thing.
Hopefully.
Lastly, we are going to end the esports news with something called rapid fire. So I'm going to go through and just name a bunch of stuff here. So tournament organizer Blast will be running this year's Fortnite Championship Series after running successful All-Star Showdown and Grand Royal events in 2021. After Iceland holding a successful Valorant Masters last year, they will be held in Iceland again this year to ensure more players can make it due to the pandemic. CDL legend Formal, who retired last year, is officially back into the competing scene, playing on Optic's Halo squad, benching other legend I Got Your Pistola. LCS Cloud9 released their head coach, Nick LSD Cesare. I'm not 100% sure on that, due to C9 and LS not seeing eye to eye, promoting former assistant coach Max Waldo, informing LS only hours prior to the match on Saturday. South Korea is hosting this year's mid-season invitationals, or MSI, for League of Legends. And lastly, Astralis has signed AWPER Firelink to their CSGO roster, benching Lucky. Cerberus, thoughts before we close out the esports news?
Biggest thing, I am surprised to see Formal taking Pistola's spot on Optic. I mean, I really wasn't expecting Optic to make a change considering they just came second, but with Cloud9 being so dominant in the scene, it's unsurprising that they're wanting to bring in a little extra firepower. Pistola has been struggling, but still surprised to see it. Also, Cloud9 and LCS, that came as a shock to most people outside the organization. Now, I have seen some stuff that people saw it was coming, but kind of a surprise. And also super excited to see South Korea get to host MSI for League of Legends this year. So pretty excited.
So closing out esports news, Cerberus, what happened in League of Legends Championship Series and Call of Duty League this past week?
Well, this week we got some LCS action, and specifically we'll start off with Academy. Teams were playing for LCS Academy League points to improve their seeding for this year's major tournament, Proving Grounds, at the end of the spring split. At the end of week 5, we got some changes, only a little bit, not a ton, but we'll start off with Thursday the 17th with 100T Academy and TSM Academy facing off in a 2-game match. It was big for TSM to split this match or this series with 100T, considering TSM has been struggling this year. So glad to see them pick up at least something so that they could look at least a little bit better. The next game we saw was Golden Guardians facing off against Team Liquid Academy, where we saw GG take both games off of Team Liquid. Both were relatively quick maps, both finishing in under 27 minutes. It was a comfortable series for GG, with them outslaying Team Liquid 37-13 in kills.
Wow, that's a 24 kill lead.
All right. In the third match, we saw Evil Geniuses Academy play Flyquest Academy, where those two games were split with each team taking one. Slaying and creep score were pretty even between both teams, with lobby leading kills only doing so by 1 total kill.
Very evenly matched.
Oh yeah, most definitely. In the fourth match, we saw C9 Academy take on Dignitas Academy, where C9 were able to take both games off of Dignitas. C9 heavily outslayed Dignitas 42-20 and taking 3 times as many towers. It was a dominant performance from C9. And then the final match of the day, we saw Counter Logic Gaming Academy, that's a mouthful, squaring off against Immortals Academy.
So am I.
The games ended up going 1-1, with each team taking 1 map. Kills were close, with CLG Academy only outslaying Immortals by 3 kills.
if it was a difficult day for some teams, they got a chance at more games on the next day, Friday the 18th.
Yeah, they did, and it brought 5 more matches. It was a strange coincidence on Friday, considering every single game, each team picked up a map. So with everyone winning one, it didn't really affect the overall standings in either a positive or a negative way. Just kind of wiped the board and made everybody stay where they were. Uh, each series was close to even in most categories, with not really many standout statistics to speak of. At the end of it all, though, it left us with the following league standings. In first, we had CounterLogic Gaming Academy with 16 wins, 6 losses. 2, Golden Guardians Academy, 15 and 7. 3, Cloud9 Academy, 13 and 9. Fourth, 100 Thieves Academy, 12 and 10. And we have a 4-way tie for 5th between Dignitas, Team Liquid, Evil Geniuses, and Immortals, all with 10 wins, 12 losses. And then in 9th, Flyquest, 8 and 14. And then trailing up the pack was TSM at 6 and 16. Ouch.
For the individual Academy League leaders, we have coming in at number 1, Triple from CLG Academy, being number 1 KDA, coming in at a whopping 7.0 with 43 kills, 16 deaths, and 69 giggity assists. Number 2 for KDA, we have Stixie of Immortals Academy, coming in at a close KDA of 6.5 with 135 kills, 37 deaths, and 105 assists, giving him 277 engagements, 149 more than total than Triple in first place. Number 3 for KDA goes to Chime of Golden Guardians Academy with a 5.8. 19 kills, 42 deaths, and a crazy 226 assists. Number 4 and 5, we have our top 2 farmers with Kaori of Evil Geniuses Academy with a 9.8 CS per minute. And number 2 farmer goes to King of C9 Academy with a close 9.7 CS per minute.
So one statistic you just said before we move on is the crazy amount of engagements from Stixie. Stixie? I'm struggling with some of the gamer tabs. But anyways, the fact that they have played 22 games, this man has 277 engagements.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of being all over the map. So that's absolutely insane. But for me personally, I'm expecting this sort of stuff to change. Obviously, the league is super competitive this year. So next week, I'm looking for Pretty of the Immortals Academy to step it up in slaying, as he's currently 4th in the league with 91 kills and 131 assists. And then he's averaging a 5.4 KDA, but he is 2nd in total kills. So that's pretty doable for him. And then also, I expect to see DeMonte of CLG Academy step it up in farming, as he is currently sitting at a 9.5 creep score per minute after just 4 games in the academy this season. So I'm looking for it to change.
Absolutely.
And then moving on from Academy into regular LCS games, we saw LCS, the big boys. Big boy. We also saw LCS action happening this week, with current teams playing regular spring split matches organized into an 8-week, that's right, 8, count them all up, double round robin format that will be capped off with spring playoffs that begin on April 2nd. The importance of these matches cannot be understated, as they are what make up the seeding for the spring split tournament. So seeding is everything, as we know, in these tournaments. So to start off on the 19th, we saw the return of 5 more matches on that day. Golden Guardians started it out versus 100 Thieves. However, GG were not really able to contest in the match, where 100 Thieves were just able to completely outslay them, 17-3 in kills. in a very quick 27-minute match. Thieves controlled the match, taking all the dragons with 4 and the only Baron that happened to be taken down that game.
Someday an FBI of 100 Thieves coming in with the top kills, both having 4 kills, 0 deaths, and 7 assists. Same exact score. Neat.
It is very neat and tidy. Put a nice little bow on it. Next match, we saw TSM taking on Immortals. It was a battle of a couple of the last place teams, with TSM trying to take their first match win. Despite being out jungled and taking less towers, TSM was somehow able to take it with 11 kills to Immortals 8. The last Baron was taken by TSM that was able to propel them to victory.
Yeah, the majority of the 11 kills from TSM seem to come from the Beast Tactical with a KDA of 9, 1, and 2.
And then following that performance with some interesting slaying going on, we saw Team Liquid take on Evil Geniuses. Team Liquid continued their dominance with their performance so far this year without dropping a tower to EG in this match. Bjergsen in the mid lane controlled the slaying without dying a singular time and getting 8 kills and 2 assists, which were more than Evil Genius's entire squad. It was a comfortable showing from TL, and they further propelled themselves from the mid pack, being in a 3-way tie for that first place spot in the league.
The highest KDA for EG was only 2 kills, 2 deaths, and 3 assists from Danny. Not taking out a single tower. That is a pretty one-sided match.
Very much so. And then in the fourth match of the day, we saw Flyquest take on Dignitas. Dignitas were trying to hang in this match with taking just 3 towers less than Flyquest. However, Flyquest's slaying was able to level them up pretty quickly, leading to taking more towers, dragons, and barons, somehow taking both barons. Now, I'm going to mess up this guy's name. Josie Diodo, I believe is how you say it, was able to lead for Flyquest with 7 kills, leading the lobby and helping to propel them to victory. Around the 28-minute mark, though, the game fully tilted into Flyquest's favor, taking the last 2 dragons and where they destroyed the last 2 barons, giving them the match.
Yeah, and almost with a 10,000 gold advantage in the end. That's no joke.
Oh yeah, Noble Esports could use some of that gold. And then in the final match of the day, we saw CounterLogic Gaming take on Cloud9. Up to this point, CLG had not taken a game so far this year in LCS. Despite this record, though, CLG were able to take it after the 38-minute mark, where they were able to take the mid lane and completely control it. Palafox for CLG controlled most of the slaying, though, with 8 kills, 1 death, 5 assists. No one on Cloud9 was able to have anywhere close to similar numbers, with their highest slayer being Fudge with only 2 kills and 2 assists. With that win, though, it gave CLG some confidence, despite being at the bottom of the leaderboards, tied for 8th with TSM and Immortals. Despite the loss, though, Cloud9 are still near the top of the league, but it does bump them out of that tie race that's at the top of the league for leader this year.
What you got for Sunday?
On Sunday, we saw 5 additional matches to further the plot this season. Ooh. In the first match of the day, Immortals took on Evil Geniuses. It was kind of a seesaw match that saw heavy slaying and dragons being traded throughout. However, Power of Evil, love the name by the way, of the Immortals, was able to show up for the squad, leading the lobby in kills with 7 and then assisting for an additional 7. Danny of Evil Geniuses tried to keep up with 5 kills, but it just wasn't enough. Immortals ended up being able to take the match, giving them their 2nd win of the year.
With the match ending 20 kills Immortals and 13 for EG. A 36-minute game and 10,000 gold advantage to Immortals seems like they just played a slow and steady wins the race game kind of game, gaining that lead.
Most definitely. In the next match, we saw Flyquest take on 100 Thieves. This was a very even matchup between some of the best teams in the league so far this season. Flyquest was able to take it after a 43-minute match, but it was only just narrowly by a small margin. Flyquest was able to lead in kills behind Toksule, I think is how you say it, with 6, and Johnson with 5. 100 Thieves dominated in the 100 Thieves in the top lane, while Flyquest were able to squeak it out through the mid, while 100 Thieves got out jungled. This win gave Flyquest their 5th win of the season.
And this one was the longest game of the whole weekend, with it being such a close fight.
And then in the third match of the day, we saw Cloud9 take on Tsm. This match was a strange one where we saw the victor get outslayed, take no dragons, and only take one more tower than their opponents. In this case, it was Cloud9 over Tsm. Spisa of Tsm was able to lead the lobby in slaying, taking a total of 7 kills, but was closely followed by Tactical of Tsm and Summit of Cloud9, both with 6.
Such an interesting game. Cloud9 winning over TSM, even though they had the kill advantage to TSM, and that's pretty rare.
Oh yeah, it's rare that you get outslayed and still win. So, and then after that, we had another grueling match on the cards in match 4 with Golden Guardians taking on Dignitas. Golden Guardians seemed to take control of this match, taking the win after 41 minutes. GG took the slaying 12-4, the tower advantage 11-2, and dragons 4-2. Dignitas was able to control the mid lane, but not by enough that would give them the match. Golden Guardians were able to dominate through that top lane, though they were able to through where they were able to deal most of their damage. A Blazed Olive was able to lead the lobby in slaying with a total of 5 kills.
That name. If you look at the total kills of 12 to GG and 4 to Dignitas, with GG having almost a 10,000 gold advantage, you can tell Dignitas really kept giving it all they had, letting this game go on for 41 minutes, even though the stats show it wasn't that close, but really hanging on for that long.
And the fact that there was only 16 kills in a 41-minute match, that's a lot of farming that was going on.
Gave it all they got.
Oh, yeah. And then the final match of the day saw Team Liquid take on Counterlogic Gaming. Team Liquid, being one of the best teams in the league so far this year, continued to put that on display, matched up against one of the weaker teams of the season in CLG. Liquid was able to outslay CLG, but only just taking it 15-10, with TL pretty even across the board in terms of slaying, with everyone on either 3 or 4, except for Bjergsen, who's kind of their star slayer, who was surprisingly only able to take 1 kill in the match. However, even though they were only slightly able to take it in the kills department, TL was able to control in towers, taking a 10-2 margin and not allowing CLG to take any of the dragons, with TL taking 4. After all was said and done, Team Liquid played a dominant match after just 29 minutes of play. And then after all was said and done, after the 20th was over, we saw league standings change up a bit, with pretty much 5 spots where teams were tied. So for first, we have Team Liquid and Flyquest both tied with 5 wins, 1 loss. Tied for third, we have Cloud9 and 100 Thieves with 4 wins, 2 losses. In fifth, we have Dignitas and Golden Guardians, both 3-3. In seventh, we have Evil Geniuses and Immortals Progressive, both with 2 and 4. And then bringing up the pack, we have TSM and Counterlogic Gaming, both 1 and 5.
Big league leaders of this season thus far, top 3 in KDA. Coming in at number 1, we have Bjergsen of Team Liquid with an impressive 11.0 KDA, 18 kills, 5 deaths, and 37 assists. Number 2 for KDA, we have Tukule of Flyquest with a 9.6 KDA, 29 kills, 7 deaths, and 38 assists. Lastly, in third for KDA, we have Someday of 100 Thieves with a close 9.3 with 21 kills, 6 deaths, and 35 assists. The 2 top farmers were Danny of Evil Geniuses with a 10.5 CSM, and number 2 goes to Bwipo of Team Liquid with a close 10.2 CSM. Closing out LCS, what about CDL? What's going on with CDL?
Those are some impressive numbers. And then we saw performers in CDL do similar things, although it's completely separate games. We saw some top performers in CDL with COD League games this week, which were the last games in order to get better seeding for the first major that's going to be the next weekend. For seeding, each team played 5 matches split between this week and the prior 2 weeks to determine their placement for Major 1, which will be the first major tournament of the Call of Duty season this year. Its importance can't be understated, though, with there only being 4 CDL majors this year. So each major's placement will be very important for each team, impacting their entire season and having huge implications. In the first match we saw on the 18th, we saw the LA Thieves versus the Paris Legion. Los Angeles Thieves won the series 3-1, with Paris seeming not in contention the entire game. Los Angeles averaged a team KD ratio of 1.06, outshowing Paris, who had a team average of 0.965. Paris was able to take 1 map off the Thieves in the search on Berlin. Otherwise, though, Los Angeles controlled the match, with Paris not able to control anything in any of the matches. Kenny of the LA Thieves was the standout performer in the lobby, going 90 and 65 for a total KD of 1.38. This loss, however, does take Paris down to an 0-4 record after placing them securely in losers bracket to the start of Major 1. And actually, my apologies, it's an 0-5 record, which is even worse.
I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt there. Kenny really carried in kills this match with his 1.38, whereas the other players' KDs on both teams together ranged from 0.73 to 1.07. So he really stood out from both sides.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And then in the next match, you saw some additional standouts with the Atlanta FaZe taking on the Minnesota Rokkr. This match had signs of being one of the best matchups of the weekend, but Atlanta FaZe came to play. FaZe ended up taking the match 3-0 in a very one-sided affair, taking their season to a perfect 4-0 record after this match. Minnesota was only able to keep up in the search and destroy, with that game going to a round 11, where it seemed Atlanta kept Rokkr on the back foot, though, and it made it seem like a simple round. Other than that game type, though, Rokkr just did not seem able to compete with the likes of FaZe. Cellium and Simp were the bright spots in the match, with Cell going 1.55 in KD and Simp going 1.32 for the entire series.
This looks more like the Atlanta FaZe we thought we'd see going into this season.
Most definitely. Simp finally has started to show up. And then we saw our next teams come up. That was Toronto Ultra versus Optic Texas. Toronto's another one of those high performers from last year. And when this match started out, it started out with some controversy, with Shotzi using a gentleman's agreement attachment on his MP40, the F8 stabilizer, in maps 1 and 2. Toronto ended up using it in match 3 because you never want to feel like you're at that disadvantage. But that was after Optic had already taken it off their loadouts. In the grand scheme of the match, it didn't end up mattering. as though it seemed Ultra was on the back foot the entire series. 3 players for Optic went positive in Dashi, Illy, and Shotzi, each going at least plus 10 or above. Shotzi led the lobby, though, with a 1.32 KD. This match was the deciding factor in the bigger picture of Major 1, as it brought Optic and Ultra to a level playing field, both being 2-2 on the season. We'd love to hear from everybody about your thoughts on the Shotzi situation. Did it impact the game, or was it a simple mistake that didn't end up changing the outcome? Ham, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, the F8 stabilizer gives you a faster TTK, which is interesting that Shotzi also had the highest KD of both teams, also an absolute animal, but at the same time, he also had that F8 stabilizer on there. So it looks bad. But that aside, I am so glad to see Optic finally showing up the way that all of the fans knew that they would.
Toronto just
They
didn't
weren't
seem
it,
to be themselves.
right?
It was strange. With that being the last match of the day, it just kind of stewed in everybody's minds and just became the focal point of that day. And then on Saturday, we saw more matches come up with Florida Mutineers taking on Seattle Surge. The Surge have been dominant up to this point in the season, just seeming a step ahead. And from what we've seen from the Mutineers, many considered that the Surge were just going to walk away with this one with an easy 3-0. However, the Mutineers had a different idea in mind, where they flipped the script and
Flip
took
squip.
the series, flipped the script, taking the series 3-0. There were not many bright spots for Seattle, with only Mac being the only one to go positive with a 1.18. However, the Mutineers can hold their heads high with a very important win over a solid squad and being led by Awakening, Big Wake, who carried the lobby with a 1.35 KD across the series.
Yeah, this is the Florida Mutineers that showed up during the preseason tournament style weekend. Florida was really dominating during that, then seemed to fall off a bit as soon as the major started. So I'm glad to see them showing their skill this match that they showed in the beginning preseason.
Most definitely, making the league more competitive. And then in the next match of the day, we saw the craziness continue with the New York Subliners taking on the Boston Breach. New York were able to pick up their first match of the year, which is shocking to me that they hadn't won one yet, after losing 3 straight with a 3-2 win over Boston. Boston was even statistically across the board, with all but one player on their team going positive. However, with 3 positive players in Capsule, TJ Halley, and Methods going plus 20 for Boston, it still wasn't enough to match New York's Hydra, who did the same all by himself. He led New York in the kills column, and it helped them secure their first victory of the year. New York, however, is still struggling in that hard point game mode, so they're going to need to pick it up if they don't want to continue to struggle.
Yeah, and same thing like I said last match. New York Subliners were absolutely dominating in the preseason as well. I believe they actually beat Boston, if I remember properly. I believe they beat Boston pretty hard too. So it's just they're really falling off. And Hydra was so impressive this one with a KDA of 1.21. He is the highest KD of both teams this match, being the only one going positive on his team.
Oh, yeah, he definitely carried. Sort of like in match 3, where we saw another great matchup between the Rocker and the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Los Angeles seemed to be ahead in the series, quickly going up 2-1 with only dropping the Search and Destroy. They seemed to be poised to take it via the respawn game modes. However, the Rocker had different plans in mind, with winning 6 straight rotations in the 4th game and taking the series to a tie 2-2. However, coming into the Search, Los Angeles just seemed to have lost their steam and dropped it in 6-2 in the round count, which left Minnesota Rocker with the win. It was a very impressive series, even though it was strictly even across the board, with the highest KD in the lobby being Attach, who went a total of 1.09 KD.
Yeah, none of the KDs really stood out, seeming to be a pretty evenly played match.
Most definitely. And we would have hoped the next one, which was the final match of the day, would have been a little more even. But it turned out Los Angeles Thieves were able to take the win over the Toronto Ultra in 3-1 fashion. Ultra started off the year hot, winning the Kickoff Classic, but since have seemed to start struggling in the beginning of the year matches, only able to take 2 wins out of their last 5 matches. Bance did play well for the Ultra, going 1.11 in the overall series, but Cammy didn't seem to be in his same dominant form from last season. With a very small sample size from this season, and especially in this match, where he was only able to go 1.0. So he was even across the board. On the other hand, the Thieves played well in slaying, close to even across the series for all players, except for Envoy, who went only 0.89 in the match. Despite this, though, the Thieves were able to work together to get their trades and secure that victory.
Yeah, with Toronto taking the first map on hardpoint with a 141-point lead, I really thought they were going to slay, but Thieves said nope and took everything else. Om nom nom. What about those Sunday games?
We had great games on Sunday as well, with the first one of the day being the London Royal Ravens versus the Seattle Surge. Uh, this one, I was kind of hoping to see Seattle step it up, but after that loss the day before, it just didn't seem to be in the cards. And in this match, London Royal Ravens were just too strong. London ended up taking the series 3-1, but it was far more dominant than that scoreline suggests. For Seattle, the only positive spot was accuracy, going 1.19 in the series, with everyone else going massively negative. I mean, we're talking minus 25 and the like. So it was a bright spot that accuracy went positive, but on the other hand, everybody on the London Royal Ravens showed up and showed out. All players went positive, with Afro leading the charge with the 1.22 KD, with 82 kills and 67 deaths in the series.
With Seattle taking map 2, the search and destroy, winning 6 of the 7 rounds, I really thought they would pull out another map win, but even with the accuracy of accuracy, they they didn't take any more maps.
Most definitely. And then in the second game on Sunday, we saw another fan favorite of Optic versus the Boston Breach, which promised to be a tough series. The game started off hot, with Boston narrowly taking the hard point by 3 points on Gavatu. However, it quickly turned dire for Boston after that. Optic was able to take the next 3 maps straight, taking the series 3-1 in a very dominant way. Dashi was able to be the star of the series, going 1.35 in KD for a total of 77 kills and 57 deaths. Scump was the only one to go negative, but only by -5 on the series in the KD department. Meanwhile, for Boston, Nero was the only bright spot, going 88 and 77 series, but he was the only one to go positive. In the final match of the day, we saw the New York Subliners take on the top team in the league of Atlanta FaZe. New York hoped to start turning around their season's woes with a win, but it did not pan out that way. Atlanta came out hot, winning the Berlin Hardpoint 250 to 189 and the Search and Destroy on Tuscan 6-1. New York was able to come back in the Gava2 control, winning it 3-2 through controlling the kills. However, FaZe proved too powerful on the Tuscan hardpoint, where they took it and the series. All of New York struggled except for Clayster, who won 1.05. FaZe, on the other hand, could do no wrong, with everyone going positive except for Arcides.
And then after the match, we go to Twitter with Abizi tweeting GG's to NY. We won 3-1. Krim is my son at this point. Then Simp tweeting, "You are horrible" at Krim6, with then Krim replying saying, "Yes, make it personal, and I am aware." Then Simp replying, "GG's, Fat Six. I'm sure the battles will come this year." Now, I know Krim is all about trolling via Twitter and whatnot, but like, dang, turning it into fat shaming him on Twitter though, like, seems a little bit excessive. If this is a joke, which I'm sure it is, all jokes,
Oh yeah.
then I get it. Friends are different with their friends and jokes or whatever. But in my opinion, either way, they should keep stuff like that to themselves. As CDL is a pro league that is getting bigger and more attention with time, but I guess it also fits the toxic community of Call of Duty. So
Who knows? But it is becoming a pro league, so hopefully they can turn it around. And with games being played and bracket seeding cemented, the bracket for Major 1 had some great matchups on the books for this next coming weekend. Keep an eye out on the bracket at this major, as it promises to offer up some twists and turns. In round 1, we have in the upper bracket Atlanta FaZe taking on Boston Breach, Optic Texas taking on Seattle Surge, London Royal Ravens taking on the LA Gorillas, LA Thieves taking on Toronto. And then from the bottom side of the bracket, we have the Florida Mutineers, the Paris Legion, the Minnesota Rocker, and the New York Subliners, all waiting to see who they're going to match up against. So with this bracket, hopefully we'll see some great games, and it's sure going to be entertaining. Hammy, let's move on. What you got in the gaming news?
a whole lot. I'll tell you what. I mean to breathe in the mic that hard too. My gosh, goodness gracious. To start
Great
off
balls of fire.
there it is. To start off the gaming section, we have a long one, so follow along with many stories in between. As I'm sure everyone has heard, Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Microsoft has reiterated many times that Call of Duty will still be available on PlayStation. Anyway, the deal is discussed to be done about July 2023 at the latest. This news was about 2 months after Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer calling the discrimination scandal at Activision Blizzard horrific. For anyone who doesn't know, there are many accusations of all sorts of sexual harassment and discrimination from employees against Activision Blizzard, which are all just disgusting.
That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you. With all of the information of harassment and discrimination known, it is not surprising that the employees wanted to unionize, to be treated fairly and safely. But Activision executive Chris Ahrens sent a clear message to the employees in which they weren't allowed to reply to, stating pretty much the union process takes too long and it will hinder the company's ability to provide epic entertainment experiences for fans. In other words, completely against it and a whole lot of hoopla. Activision Blizzard is the parent company of Raven Software, who first started the unionizing process, getting 34 quality assurance testers together. Since then, Activision Blizzard has taken every anti-union tactic they can in place, including completely separating the 34 quality assurance testers into different parts of the company, like marketing and IT, that they have no idea what they're doing or who they answer to for management, in an attempt to separate and confuse the 34. According to the latest court filings between Activision Blizzard and California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, the trial for the whole lawsuit is set to begin February 27th of 2023, shortly before Microsoft is set to take over.
Hopefully Microsoft brings some change. I'm really hoping.
And then to top it all off, with Activision Blizzard just giving this wonderful name for themselves, it has come out that the CEO of Activision, Bobby Kotick, has two separate companies that he used to funnel money to the 2020 Republican campaign efforts. Company names Norgate LLC and 807080A LLC together have donated over $500,000 combined, according to the Federal Election Commission filing reviewed by CNBC. A spokesman for Kotick claims that he has given to both parties over the past 5 years roughly the same amount, but records state otherwise. Overall, either way, just a sleazy guy running a sleazy company. Hopefully, once Microsoft officially acquires Activision, all of this can be fixed and the employees can work in a fair, non-hostile environment where they can focus on just making badass games.
Amen to that.
Right. And then other leading company, shorter story. Sony acquired Bungie for 3.6 billion, stating Bungie, mainly known for the Destiny franchise, will remain a multi-platform studio with the option to self-publish. Bungie was bought by Microsoft back in 2000, claiming Halo as an exclusive title, but then Bungie regained their independence in 2007 after Halo 3 launched. Bungie produced 2 more exclusive Halo games before signing a 10-year deal with Activision, which led to the creation of Destiny franchise. It's expressed that over 1/3 of the money spent by Sony will be used as incentive for employees. I'm excited to see what will be produced from this powerful team, and seems to be more of a correct way to do things.
I like that. I like that a third of the money is going to employees. So that's great news.
Right. Absolutely. In Fortnite news, John Cena, the star of HBO's show and WWE, but the HBO show named Peacemaker put on Instagram a photo teasing that the main character Peacemaker will be a skin available in Fortnite, assuming to promote the new show. The character Peacemaker is described as a hypersexualized dude who is open to anything sexual. Following that, announcing the character is actually bisexual, which was John Cena's idea, and it's pretty cool to bring a bit more of LGBTQ plus to the DCEU.
I love this. I love anything inclusive like this. So this is actually really cool. I'm excited to see people like John Cena bring these ideas and really make society more inclusive. That's what it's all about.
Right, absolutely. Thumbs down to this one. A hacking group that manufactures and sells hacking gaming hardware, allowing
Boo.
users to access and play pirated versions of copyrighted games, known as Team Executor, had a case filed against them by the United States of America in August of 2020. Gary Bowser, the only member that has been apprehended, was arrested in the Dominican Republic in October of 2020, where he was extradited to the US and remained in federal custody for a total of 16 months. Pleading guilty in November 2021, he was sentenced to 40 months, already serving 16. He now has 24 months left in prison, with Bowser still owing the United States 4.5 million and Nintendo of America 10 million. He agreed to pay a restitution of around $4.5 million to Nintendo, since he knowing and willfully took part in the piracy since June of 2013. The two others involved, Lauren and Chen, will have to see if the scheme catches up to them as well. Stealing is bad. No, don't do it. You know?
Stealing is bad. Stealing is very bad.
The Steam Deck is Valve's upcoming entry into the handheld gaming world. This device has about an 8-hour battery life, runs Linux, and has Bluetooth, so you can use a controller or earbuds if you'd like. Releasing February 25th at 3 different price points, all just with different storage sizes. It's $399 for 64 gigabytes, $529 for 256 gigabytes, and $649 for 512 gigabytes.
Okay.
Early reviews state the Steam Deck can load many titles from a micro SD card at the same or similar speeds as the internal SSD, meaning if these specs stay the same up to launch, then consumers can buy the cheapest one with the least amount of storage space and just use a micro SD card with little to no loading time differences. If you plan on buying one, I hope this helps you.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Commonwealth Games, an organization headquartered in the UK but working across 72 member nations and territories, is a unique world-class multi-sport event which is held every 4 years and is referred to as Friendly Games. They have announced that esports will be included from Thursday, July 28th until Monday, August 8th. This is huge news for the future of esports and the progression so far. Where will we be allowed to compete in next? Next, we have if you still game on your Nintendo 3DS or Wii U, I have some bad news. Nintendo has officially announced that they will be shutting down the shops in March of 2023, meaning no more buying digital games or downloading demos. Nintendo states people will still be able to re-download games and DLC, receive software updates, and enjoy online play on the family systems. Obviously, fans aren't taking this too well. I guess there's a time to move on from everything, huh?
I mean, yeah, they're trying to push their new platforms. So unsurprising that they're shutting down old stuff.
With League of Legends thriving to produce 6 new champions a year, one for each role. The second new champion of the year is now live. The newest support, Renata Glask, has a powerful root and throw, a loyalty program ability that shoots Chemtech rockets that both shields allies and damages enemies, a bailout ability which buffs either herself or an ally with ramping attack and movement speed that will also resurrect whoever it is used on if they're killed while buffed. Her ultimate ability, which is so unique, she sends out a cloud of chemicals that increases the enemy's attack speed and causes them to auto attack nearby enemies. So they attack their own allies, which is the first champion who forces the enemy to friendly fire. Let me know if you like how the champion plays because it sounds sick. News for 2 ranked playlists, Halo Infinite playlist had a reset. Adjustments were made to help players find their true rank. Also, Call of Duty finally brought back ranked play, adding it to Vanguard. Not much on these stories, not much to say about it. It is what it is, but great info to know. If you love the extra competition, it is there.
Hallelujah.
Rainbow Six Siege update. We're in year 7 of Rainbow Six Siege with the new season releasing February 21st. Siege developers announced Goyo, Valkyrie, Zero, Bandit, Dakabi, and Thatcher. So sorry if I pronounced any of those wrong. I'm sure I did. We'll have a huge rework with the final changes done throughout this year. Also, a Rainbow Six Siege tournament was planned to happen in the UAE, a country with extremely strict anti-LGBTQ plus laws, making people wonder if the LGBTQ plus operators will be banned. And the creator and the casters and players who are LGBTQ plus are scared for their life to go, which rightfully so. With over 13,500 signatures in petition to change the location after just 2 days. Yeah, they Ubisoft heard them loud and clear, changing the location to a not yet known country. I am so happy they cared enough to actually listen, which does not happen much in the gaming community.
No, not typically. So glad to hear that they changed it.
Yeah. Now we're on rapid fire gaming news. The huge letdown Cyberpunk 2077 has another con and a new update where a bug makes PS4 copies unplayable, and now there is no way to fix this error. Warzone and Vanguard leakers claim King Kong event is on the way. Riot announced a new logo. Lastly, Sony shares first look at the PlayStation VR 2 with a sleek look, new adjustment dial, a vent so you don't fog up the lens, 4K HDR, 1 cord, and finger tracking technology. All right, Cerberus, last thoughts on gaming news?
Cyberpunk 2077, unsurprising, there's something else wrong with it.
That brings us to the end of gaming news. Cerberus, Counter-Strike, this past week, what's up?
All right, in CSGO, we saw IEM Katowice. I've been pronouncing this wrong all week. I've been pronouncing Katowice. It's Katowice, which is the first of 2 major tournaments this year and is structured with a play-in stage that was played on Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday the 16th. The top 8 teams from the play-in stage secured seats in a group stage that would be played the following days. 16 teams played in the main event, which was the next step up, with those being split into 2 groups of 8 teams apiece in pool play. Teams were playing for their share of a $972,000 prize pool, where first place was going to win 400,000, second place 180, and third and fourth both walking away with 80,000 each. To start on Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday the 16th, the double play-in elimination tournament happened. We saw a plethora of games with one of the biggest prizes of the year on the line. When all was said and done, OG, Astralis, FaZe, and Copenhagen Flames were able to secure the first spots in the main stage. The Danish squad, Copenhagen Flames, continued their tremendous growth that started in late 2021 to secure the first seat. They were quickly followed by the other three teams that were previously mentioned. Later on Wednesday, they were joined by the last four teams to secure their spots with Moose, NIP, Ninjas in Pajamas, by far my favorite name in esports, Fnatic, and ENCE. The bottom 8 teams did not go home empty-handed, though, despite not moving on to the main stage, with 9th through 12th all receiving $4,500 in winnings, and 13th through 16th earning $2,500 per team. We will have to see what the bottom 8 teams will be able to do, if they'll be able to do any better later this year at IEM Cologne.
At least everyone wins something, you know?
The tournament continued after a play-in stage with 16 teams being separated into 2 pools of 8. Group A started off on Thursday, the 17th, with the first match of the day being a decisive one from Virtus Pro, winning 2-0 over Copenhagen Flames. It continued with Heroic winning over OG, Ninjas in Pajamas over Gambit, and Team Vitality winning over Moose. Copenhagen Flames, Gambit, Moose, and OG all fell down to the lower side of their bracket to fight their way back into the tournament from the lower side of Group A.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Gambit lose, as Gambit is considered one of the top teams in the league.
Most definitely. And in Group B, they started their games also on the 17th, with Furia winning over Astralis and FaZe taking it over Team Liquid 2-1. The group proceeded with their opening games on Friday the 8th, with G2 losing out to Fnatic, which was a shocker, and Na'Vi taking a win over ENCE. These games saw ENCE, Astralis, G2, and Team Liquid all drop down to the lower bracket to only have one shot remaining to keep their hopes alive for the tournament.
You only got one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow.
After that first round of matches, the focus turned on to the elimination games in the lower bracket of Group A. Moose took down OG in a 2-0 series, and Gambit took down Copenhagen Flames 2-1. Moving down to Group B elimination games, Astralis took down ENCE in a 2-1 series, and Team Liquid fell short versus G2, losing out 0-2. That made the first 4 teams eliminated from the tournament: OG, Copenhagen Flames, ENCE, and Team Liquid.
Again, with the money, makes everything a little better. Even the bottom 4 teams were still able to walk away with 10K each.
Money makes it a little bit easier. So moving on to the upper bracket semifinals in Group A, Heroic took on Team Vitality and then came out on top 2-0. This was an incredible match by Heroic, considering the strength of Team Vitality based on what they've shown up to this point this year. Also in Group A, Virtus Pro took on Ninjas in Pajamas, where NIP lost out on the series 1-2.
Yep.
In Group B upper bracket, Na'Vi took on Furia, where Na'Vi took a commanding 2-0 win. Also in this group, FaZe took a 2-1 victory over Fnatic. In the lower bracket semifinals in Group A, NIP took a victory over Moose 2-0, knocking Moose out of the tournament. Also in this group, we saw a clash of titans with Gambit taking on Team Vitality. However, Gambit proved to be the bigger of the 2 titans, taking the series 2-0. In Group B, Astralis took down Fnatic 2-1 to knock Fnatic out of the tournament. Also, G2 took on Furia, where they were able to do the same thing by taking the series 2-1, sending Furia packing.
9-12 were able to take home $16,000.
A nice little payday. In the final sets of matches to round out the group brackets, we saw 4 final games to set up placements for the single elimination bracket for finals. In Group A, we saw the upper bracket final of Heroic taking on Virtus Pro. Heroic were able to continue their run, taking down Virtus 2-0 and giving themselves a first round bye in the single elimination bracket. The lower bracket, NIP took on Gambit to see who would go home and who would advance to the final bracket. Gambit proved just too powerful, taking the series 2-0, sending Ninjas in Pajamas home.
Is sending them home with $24,000 in prize money.
I'm not gonna lie, I just picture a ninja all dressed up in his like Christmas pajamas with just a sack of money over his shoulder, like sneaking away.
That's a great picture.
In the Group B upper bracket, Na'Vi took on FaZe Clan, where Ropes of FaZe was able to join the team once again after testing negative for COVID. However, despite having a crucial piece of their team back, FaZe fell to Na'Vi 2-1. In the lower bracket final, it was a battle to stay alive in the tournament between G2 and Astralis. G2, though, proved just too strong, knocking Astralis out of the tournament 2-1.
All about that money. Astralis left with $24,000 in winnings.
After all the battling was finished for all that money, 6 teams moved on to the final single elimination bracket for IEM Katowice. Gambit, FaZe, Virtus Pro, and G2 all moved on to face off in the first round of the single elimination bracket. Meanwhile, Na'Vi and Heroic also moved on, but by coming through the upper bracket without dropping any games, won them the first round bye and will face off against the winners of the bottom 4 teams. Moving on from CSGO to another popular game, Rainbow Six had its Rainbow Six Invitational, which was held over the past two weeks, where the quest was to become the top team in Rainbow Six Siege this year. It was a group format for seeding into a bracket where we saw teams want to start in the upper bracket so that they had that cushion of being able to drop a game and still have a chance at the main prize. To begin, we saw 8 teams start in the upper bracket with 4 starting in lower. After days of matches, it all came down to the final 4 teams of TSM, Team Empire, FaZe Clan, and MIBR. We started off with MIBR taking on FaZe Clan in the lower bracket semifinals. It was a very close match with all 3 maps needing to be played. FaZe Clan were able to take it though, winning the series 2-1. They were close games with the attack side being the most dominant side of the series. Souls1 was the top performer in the series with a rating of 1.30, going 27-19.
Yeah, pretty dominant, as the closest KD was on the opposite team, MIBR, with only a 1.18.
True. And while FaZe waited in the lower bracket final to see who they would have to play to proceed, TSM took on Team Empire in the upper bracket finals. This was a close series as well, with slaying balanced across both teams, with everyone trying their best to bring glory for the squad. However, Team Empire were able to pull out the series, winning 2-1. Achieved of TSM was the highest slayer in the lobby, just narrowly though, with 26 kills and 17 deaths and a rating of 1.13. However, it was just not enough for TSM to take the win over Team Empire.
Yeah, I will say, even though Merc of TSM was negative with a 0.93, he had the highest headshot percentage of 77%, which is extremely impressive.
That's true. His gunny was on point and was very accurate. And then with TSM losing that match to Team Empire, TSM dropped down to take on FaZe Clan. Fueled by that loss, TSM came out swinging for the fences and quickly 2-0'd FaZe Clan. There were no signs of life from FaZe in this match, with the highest amount of kills coming out of Souls 1 and Cyber, both with 11. But the deaths showed to outweigh those kills, making everyone on FaZe go into the negative for KD. TSM, on the other hand, showed that they were the stronger of the two teams, with everyone on their squad able to go positive, with at least 4 out of the 5 going positive, with a +5 in KD at the very minimum. Off this win, TSM proceeded on to get their rematch versus Team Empire in the grand finals.
With everyone on FaZe going negative, with the lowest a 0.47 from Bullet 1 and TSM almost all positive, it was pretty dominant.
Oh, yeah. And TSM proved they were coming to play because they got back to that final match of the tournament that saw them get the rematch versus Team Empire for who would be world champs out of a best-of-5 series. Fresh off their victory versus FaZe, TSM came out hot and seemed to take control. After a grueling map 1 that saw TSM take the map 8-6 on Clubhouse. After that, though, TSM took it up another notch where they controlled map 2, taking it 7-3. In map 3, it was another grueler where Team Empire were able to pick up their first map 8-6. However, TSM proved that they were on fire and took the final map on map 4 on Villa. With the win on map 4, TSM won the tournament and were crowned the best in Rainbow Six Siege. Achieved and Merc turned up for TSM, going 52-31 for Achieved and 53-38 for Merc. They carried the squad to the victory and world championship.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty evenly matched, with Achieved and Merc of TSM standing out, as you said, with a 1.25 and 1.22 KD, making the difference to assist in the win. Congrats, TSM. Rah!
Rah! Yeah! Whoa! TSM! TSM!
I'm sure that sounds absolutely horrific. I'm so sorry for that. And now, after that awkward encounter of us just rawing into the mic, Cerberus, what happened with Rocket League?
RLCS saw some action this weekend with the third regional event where teams played for placement points, where they were going to use those points to qualify for the World Championship. After a long tournament with 4 teams, the top 4 teams were Version 1, NRG, G2, and FaZe Clan. Version 1 claimed the top spot, beating out NRG in a stellar match where they took the series 4-1. Each match was heavily weighted towards Version 1, who won each of their 4 games by multiple goals, except for one game where they outscored them by 1 goal. All said and told, NRG, FaZe Clan, and G2 improved their placements for champs, where they are all squarely in the top 3. Your placements for Worlds after that event are: at first, you have NRG, 2, FaZe Clan, 3, G2 Esports, 4, Space Station Gaming, 5, Complexity Gaming, 6, Version 1, 7, Team Envy, 8, Oxygen, 9, Xset, and 10, Rogue.
Wow, just the points difference from first to last place is a whopping 1,942 points, which is incredible. And that is it for Rocket League this week. Moving on to streamer news. All right, so it is streamer news time. This isn't quite streamer news, but it has to do with streaming. There is a new browser extension for Twitch called Twitch Previews. Thanks to this Twitch extension, you can watch all your favorite streamers, no matter the platform they stream on your Twitch sidebar as if they're streaming on Twitch alone. No more flipping through platforms to watch your favorite streamers. Very cool.
Hallelujah. All your great favorite streamers all in one place.
Nice. Yes. Noise. Sweet noise.
Sweet.
Twitch streamer Justa Minx broke down in a recent YouTube video, stating that she was banned again for using a derogatory slur, another name for a saltine, during a broadcast. Twitch told her she's one ban away from being permanently banned. She claims she will be stepping away from crossing the line, marking a major change for her comedic style. Well, after her 7-day ban, she returned on February 15th by mocking Twitch, faking her arrest with a fake cop and cop car, with the cop stating the reason for her being arrested is violating Twitch guidelines. Then she was put in a cage as part of her probation. She then started crying, saying, "I'm sorry, Twitch, I'm sorry." The whole skit was well received by fans. Magnificent. Um, Hopefully, she can keep out of trouble and keep just creating amazing content.
I love that. Way to make the best out of a bad situation.
Right. Yeah. She's so creative. Um, this one is a bit off-putting. Ray Dempto, an American Twitch streamer who has lived in Amsterdam since 2009 to learn some more about Dutch culture, was streaming in the streets of Amsterdam on February 13th around 12:25 a.m. Everyone started asking him if he felt safe, which then he stated he feels totally fine as there are police stations everywhere. Right after stating that, he was approached by an intoxicated man who was, for some reason, angry. Redempto was streaming and started choking the streamer until he was completely unconscious. The man who assaulted him was stating how he doesn't care that he's live on Twitch and will unalive him. The streamer, Redempto, after falling to the ground, got away and fled to a police station where he handed over all the evidence to find this criminal. Just really goes to show, man, be careful out there. Cerberus, you've been to Amsterdam. How were the streets at night?
I was never scared of something like that happening. Amsterdam honestly was one of the most welcoming cities in the world I've ever been to. I've been to about 8 different countries across the globe, and Amsterdam was by far one of the most welcoming cities I've been to.
I mean,
So
you
it's
got
just
crappy
shocking.
people no matter where you go, so it was uncommon
Very true.
then. Next up, something that isn't discussed a lot, but is pretty serious. The alternate reality of gaming can really become an addiction, and it's important to balance out IRL and gaming. 100 Thieves content creator Leslie Folsey Fu has stated she's taking a step back from GTA role playing with on No Pixel after admitting her addiction is too strong. Fellow 100 Thieves creator Valkyrie tweeted back at Folsey's announcement on Twitter, stating, "Bruh, WTF, your addiction enables mine, please don't leave." In which Folsey responded laughing, "Same here, same here, I need to touch grass, fam. Hold it down for me while I'm gone." Although Valkyrie has admitted the addiction is a problem for her, she doesn't plan on stopping anytime soon. Gaming addiction is real, and if you feel it's taking over your life, maybe take a step back like Folsey did. All big gamers like myself and Cerberus have been there.
Oh yeah, it's always important to
Touch grass, fam.
all things. Yes, touch grass, fam. But all good things are good in moderation.
Lastly, we have a rapid fire to close out streamer news for the week. Dr. Disrespect, the doc, revealed an unreleased song of his during his stream, which got overwhelming love, obviously. Pretty chill vibes. I like it. Picasso. Small Twitch streamer, it's GNG, who was doing the popular subathons, woke up with an 85 hours added to his stream, which love seeing the small creator succeed and get a cut of the gaming love. Love to see it. Friendly rivalry between Nick Merckx and Dr. Disrespect has continued when Nick Merckx claims, despite the doc's height advantage, he could take the skinny streamer, no doubt. Those are the fights we need. Less Jake Paul, more Doc and Nick. Eugene Akuni is banned from Twitch for assuming for we're assuming too many slip ups showing more than what is allowed. Mr. Beast just had his 10-year anniversary on YouTube. He is bigger than ever, which I love to hear because I love Mr. Beast. Thoughts on closing out the streaming section, Monsieur Cerberus?
Really would love to see a Nick Merckx versus Dr. Disrespect fight. Definitely want that to happen. And the Doc's walkout music has to be his brand new song. 100%.
Chill. It's chill.
And 10 years on YouTube. Congratulations to Mr. Beast.
Au revoir, streaming news. Bonjour, Valorant. Cerberus, tell me what's going on in Valorant this past week.
Well, Valorant's Champions Tour, also known as the VCT, Challengers Stage 1 online qualifiers are being played this month. Teams are playing for 4 open qualifier spots that are on offer for Masters 1 in March. Online qualifiers are regional, so teams are competing to be the top of their region. It's imperative for teams to qualify and do well at Masters, since those matches are how they're going to qualify for Champions Tournament later this year. And it'll be how they get most of their points. This week, we saw teams fight for those spots, and here's what happened. On the 18th, we saw the Sentinels take on the Pittsburgh Knights. The Sentinels were able to take the matchup 2-1. The game was pretty close in map 1, with the Knights narrowly taking it 15-13. However, Sentinels stepped it up after that, taking the next 2, taking them both in dominant performances in a 13-5 victory and a 13-8 victory. Tens was the top player in the lobby, going 65 and 44 for Sentinels, and a 1.48 total KD in the match. Considering the overall team loss, though, Scuba still did well for the Knights, going 58 and 48 for a total KD of 1.21. Though Scuba did well, the Knights still lost, extending their losing streak to 3 games in a row in the last 3 games.
Even though everyone except Zomes went positive for the Sentinels, the Canadian Tens pulling out the 1.48 with a 1.36 rating really made sure to secure that win.
It really did. And then in the second match of the day, we saw another match that ended up being far closer than the last. Evil Geniuses took on Luminosity Gaming in a best of 3 that saw all 3 maps needing to be played. Luminosity came out hot with a 13-2 win on map 1. However, Evil Geniuses were able to bring it back in map 2, narrowly winning it 13-11. Luminosity had the final say, though, in map 3, winning it 14-12. All said and told, the match ended up being very close despite map 1. Mata, Moose, and B-Dog of Luminosity were all top performers for them, with Moose narrowly performing at the top with a 1.38, closely followed by Mata, who had a 1.37 and only lost out by 1 kill. On the flip side, your boy Dre was the top player for Evil Geniuses with a 1.13 KD, but it was just not enough to give them the victory. Luminosity was able to use this win to snap their losing streak after dropping the last 3, while Evil Geniuses continued to slide, dropping their 4th in a row.
Yeah, Mata and Moose of Luminosity both going positive 15 is really impressive.
It is. It definitely is. And then the next match saw Cloud9 take on Tsm. Cloud9 was able to pick up the series. However, it was not without its challenges. Tsm played it close with taking the first map, but not able to hold on to the next 2, despite them being somewhat close. Part of what hurt them is the entire team struggled kill-wise, with no players able to go positive. On the flip side, Leaf of Cloud9 was able to lead the lobby, taking a 1.46 KD and absolutely controlling situations.
Yeah, Cloud9's Vanity had a 0.84 KD going -7, but Leaf really showed out with the positive 18 kills.
He did. And in the second and final match of the day was one that was not even close. Version 1 took on Rise, where Version 1 took the series in a very quick 2-0 series. Rise struggled as a team, only able to take 12 rounds between the 2 games, and with each player at a loss except for Superman, who went 1.22 in the KD. On the flip side, all players for version 1 were able to play well, with only Whitby going 0.71 in the series for his KD. Penny was the strongest performer, though, putting on an absolute smoke show with a 2.09 KD with a 46 and 22 stat line. So far this season, he has been consistently performing for the squad, so it's no surprise he showed out in this match, but it is surprising by just how much he was able to show out.
Not much for me to say here. Version 1 just really dominated this one.
Most definitely. Optic Gaming did the same in the next match, where they took on NRG. NRG came to play, but Optic proved just too strong. They were able to heavily outslay NRG, with everyone except FNS going positive. Victor of Optic had the best KD with a 1.79, but Marv had the most kills going 39 and 23. On the flip side, despite keeping the games somewhat close, no one on NRG was able to show out well enough, with only one player in EU going positive with a 1.03 for a 30 and 29 stat line.
Yeah, again, not a whole lot for me to say. Marv of Optic really said, pull up, skirt, hop in, we're going hunting.
He says, skirt, skirt.
Pull up, skirt, hop in, we're going hunting.
The last match of the weekend saw another skirt, skirt moment where 100 Thieves took on the Guard. The match stayed pretty close through the first two maps, with both teams picking up one. However, things changed very quickly on map 3. 100 Thieves suddenly changed pace, and they couldn't pick up a single round on the Guard, making it look like the Guard was playing just a rookie squad, taking the map 13 to nothing. The Guard was led by Trent, who went 55 and 32 in the match for a 1.72 KD. Say, a player of the Guard, was not far behind, going 52 and 38 for a 1.37 KD. After the match, though, 100 Thieves founder Nadeshot took to Twitter to talk about his displeasure with the results.
Yeah, he took to Twitter stating that he posted twice. The first one saying that performance was absolutely unacceptable from us. Not much else to say. Just can't happen. Period. The next one saying, I'm not speaking for the players when I tweet. I respect all of our talent and out of game. I love this organization that we've built, and I'm genuinely invested in every match we compete in. I want our teams to succeed. I'm competitive and I care, plain and simple. Nate's shot just really said, I and we can and will do better.
Most definitely. There's only one thing I want to add here, which just came out today, right before we're actually filming this on the 22nd. Nadeshot and the organization 100 Thieves actually ended up making a team change. They've dropped 2 of their players and added 2 more. We can go into this in a little more detail in the future, but after a hot 13-0 loss, not surprising that they made the change.
Yeah, right.
And after all of this and the weekend's matches, Stage 1 main event standings are as follows. In Group A, we have a 2-way tie for first, with the Guard and Cloud9 both with 2 wins. Tied for third, we have Exet and Luminosity both with 1 win, 1 loss. And in last place in that group is 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses, both without a win. And in Group B, we have a tie for first between Version 1 and Sentinels, both with 2 wins. A tie for third with Optic and Rise, both 1 and 1. And finally, NRG and Pittsburgh Knights, both with no wins. And then after all that in Valorant, we got to move on and see some PUBG and Warzone events. To start off, we saw Optic Texas from the Call of Duty League put on a 2-day $100,000 Warzone event where we saw a solo custom game for a winner to receive $15,000 grand prize, and a custom trio game where the grand prize was $85,000. The solo game, named the Solo YOLO game, was played on Tuesday the 15th, where Iceman Isaac, FIFA Kill, and B Breadman were the last three in the lobby. After a 1 versus 1, FIFA Kill took out Iceman Isaac, but it left him at a disadvantage and low health. B Breadman was able to capitalize and take the initiative, taking out FIFA Kill, winning him the game. In the Customs Trio lobby, we saw the stacked teams drop into the same lobby to battle it out for the grand prize of the event. Tommy, Almond, and Noobs continued their dominance in the Warzone scene, placing first and taking home the winnings. With this win, it launched Tommy to the top of the all-time most winning player in Warzone.
Sheesh. Tommy, man, he makes the game look so easy. Like he's just playing bots on easy mode. It's absolutely insane.
Oh, it's disgusting. And in the next tournament we're going to talk about, Joe Woe's Caldera of Passion event, he continued that dominance because the streamer, Joe Woe, hosted a Warzone tournament on February 17th where the grand prize would go to the winners to the tune of $25,000. It was a weighted tournament with teams playing a total of 6 games in custom lobbies. After the dust settled and all was done, Tommy, once again with his squad of him, Robstar, Almond, and Noobs, were able to come top and claim the prize. Tommy just continued his run as the top earning player. Ham, who do you think will be able to take him down and take the crown?
So first off, love Joe Woe. His vibes unmatched. Second,
oh yeah,
Tommy. I mean, that's really all. I don't know who would be. I mean, he's just absolutely on top, and I feel like I know pretty well all of the top Warzone streamers at this point, and I feel like no one just hits the competition like Tommy does at this point in time.
He's absolutely filthy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like some of our PUBG players in our next segment, because PUBG Masters Phase 1 was also happening. The contest started off on February 9th and continued through this past weekend. It started out with a 128 team tourney in North America, with it coming down to eliminate everybody except for 10 teams who proceeded onto the grand finals, where Latin America will produce 6 teams as well to join them. After this weekend, we saw the top 8 teams being E United at number 1, Guadalajara Gas Cans at number 2, the Sonics at number 3, in 4th, Bing Bang Boom, 5, What a Rush, 6, Yahoo!
I feel like these are like horses' names from like horse racing.
It certainly feels like that. In 7th, we have an auto manufacturer in Dodge. Number 8, the Rumblers. Number 9, Team Veritas. And 10, Shoot to Kill. So that's it for what we got that's happening around the leagues. Hammy, what have we got coming up next? What games are coming out?
Yeah, so next, our last section here before we get to our videos, we have upcoming games. So for all of the Rockstar fans, a highly anticipated and long-awaited announcement has finally been made. Rockstar finally confirms that Grand Theft Auto 6 is in development and has been since 2020. All of the leaked info we have thus far, which isn't much, is the release date is speculated to be anywhere from 2023 to 2025. Back in 2020, Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two, revealed that in 2024, they'll be expecting a huge increase of about $90 million in advertising. Speculated that this is for GTA 6. It's also rumored to more than likely only be on PC and newer gen consoles, and hopefully be cross play as well. Lastly, with a few map leaks throughout the years, popular GTA YouTuber Mr. Boss FTW made the link between a job listing and possible new map set in Florida, guessing this could possibly be Vice City. The release is far away, but there is a game in sight. We will do our best to provide updates as we learn them throughout the years to come.
Yes. That's all I want to say. Just yes. More
Absolutely.
GTA. Love GTA. All right,
Yeah,
go ahead.
absolutely. All right, next up, remember the Wii. You may not have had many games, but you had Wii Sports, and you rocked the hell out of every game by yourself, challenged family, challenged friends. Now, if you have a Nintendo Switch Sports is on the way. It's said to be released April 29th of 2022 with 6 base games and multiplayer for local and online play, with DLC added down the line to get active. For example, in soccer, you can strap the Joy-Con to your leg and kick. This will not work with Nintendo Switch Lite. With Switch sales not slowing down, generating over 60 billion in revenue, I'm sure there is much more to come. I better get a Switch soon. I want to play some Pokemon and relive those Wii Sports memories of simpler times, man. To top off all the news that we gathered from this week, here is a kind of long rapid fire of upcoming game news. The new Sims 4 expansion, Wedding Stories, all about getting hitched, is launching in Russia after all, unaltered and unchanged, as it wasn't supposed to release in Russia due to the strict LGBTQ plus laws. I am so happy to hear this. Also, the first OG person shooter game that changed first person shooters forever, GoldenEye 007, has been rumored to be coming out remastered to the newest Xbox gen, speculated soon. The new WWE 2K22 is set to release March 11th of 2022, hoping to make up for the fall of WWE 2K20. Sega announced a sequel to its 1990 RPG cult hit Soul Hackers called Soul Hackers 2. Pokemon trading card game is currently in limited beta, available in Canada. Avatar: The Last Airbender MMORPG is in development. Sony has constructed a giant Aloy statue in Italy to celebrate Horizon Forbidden West launch. Lastly, Activision announced the new Call of Duty will be Modern Warfare 2, and there will also be a Warzone 2, all on a brand new engine to be released later this year. And they also announced they will be finally skipping a year's release of Call of Duty in 2023 to hopefully get it right. Last thoughts on upcoming games, Cerberus.
This is the first time in 20 years, I think, that Activision has delayed a Call of Duty launch. Thank God. I think they are finally starting to get the studios working. So super excited about that. Absolutely love Zero Dawn, so I'm excited about the new game, Forbidden West, and they built a giant Aloy statue, which is pretty dope. So glad to hear about the release of the Wedding Stories expansion to Sims 4 coming out in Russia. So glad that that's not being stopped because of some primitive lawmaking, because that's just ridiculous that those laws are a thing. And absolutely loved GoldenEye 007. Spent hours on it as a kid over at my buddy's house. So pretty excited to see it go from Nintendo 64 to newest Xbox consoles, because those graphics back then were pretty horrendous.
Yeah.
They were groundbreaking for the time, but
Right.
comparatively now they were horrendous.
Rough.
So excited to see that. So yeah.
Yeah, that brings us to the end of all the news and esports we have gathered over this past week. Next up, we have our top 3 videos of the week. If you saw something crazy in esports or a crazy streamer clip, send it our way. We'd also love to start doing a subscriber video of the week as well. So if you did something crazy, saw something crazy, send it our way as well. We want to choose one a week. We would love to do that. All right, in no particular order, coming up at number 1, we have Shiro, the Counter-Strike Global Offense player for Gambit Esports, absolutely popping off, showing here 2 videos of him clutching up in different scenarios of huge clutch moments.
1v3, Shiro has the bomb in front of him. He has the op. He's not an easy man to approach right now. I know it's a 1-on-3, but still.
Listen, magic is what connects the ordinary to the impossible, and Copenhagen Flames looking like wizards, but Shiro doesn't believe. 2 kills back the other way. It's him versus Hooksy, the man who kicked this off, and the man who's kicked to the curb.
Back out, and it is a complete wash in the favor of NIP again. And how does Shiro get anything done at this point in time? A ball in his hand, that's one way. Don't go for the play, go for the kills. Clear the sight, that's how he does it. Straight assassination, 3 kills now in the round. Bomb to be planted, and safely to rotate back down the ramp. But does he know? That's where Rez is arriving from, and his back still exposed. He's still in the open. Oh, he ducked down just in time. Rez didn't quite spot him, or did he? Because he works up now with his crosshair firmly fixed upon that lane. He may have just seen the backside as Shiro is inside of the corner. His gun will show first. No, Rez looked away. Thinks he's rotated all the way around. Thinks he's missed his chance. Now they each know where the other is. And Shiro, a lovely, lovely way to end the half.
That was insane. 1v3 and a 1v4. Kids just built different.
Yeah. Second video, we have Streamer Sparrow showing just how powerful the new updates in Warzone can be.
Bro, we are chilling, bro. Where's the redeploy?
Where's the redeploy? Yeah, we gotta
The thing
find
is
that.
pretty thick. I can't see a thing out of here, though.
They're gonna be running though. They're not gonna be.
How long does baby last?
13 seconds. 13 seconds. I'm throwing another one. Come here. I'm gonna go. I have a durable. I'm gonna go out and try to find it. Okay.
Yeah. Jake, you got a muni?
I can't find it.
I don't.
It's dying out in front of me. I can't find it. Yo, it's to your right. It's to your right. It's right here.
You got gas inbound.
I'm dead. Hey, Spirits, take my money. Oh, if you can.
I can't, Jake. I
No,
can't.
just go.
Yeah, I think I got it. Bro, no way we just made it out of gas because of that. That's actually nuts, dude. What happens if I go down in the air? Bro!
How did he get out of that situation? Just better movement than I'll ever have.
Lastly, we have the last match of Rainbow Six Invitationals, showing the clutch of TSM, making TSM the 6th Invitational 2022 World Champions.
Down goes always.
Another
TSM are in such good shape. Scyther a desperation swing, and suddenly it's a 5v2. Potentially for one on the roof. He could engage, but he gets smoked by Achieved. It's a 5v1. Empire have come so close before, but they've fallen short, and they'll do so again. TSM said trust the process. The process just won you a world championship. TSM are your 6th Invitational 2022 World Champs.
We are the champions, my friends. I'm so excited for TSM. It's great to see them get to be on top of the world. And that's gonna be it for our episode today on Lock Into Esports. I am Cerberus.
I'm Ham.
And thank you to everyone for joining us this week for another episode. We will be uploading new episodes every week, usually on Thursdays. We hope you continue to join us on our journey of covering esports. We absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, always check your corners, stay locked, and get those dubs.